These UFOs are out here, man, and I want to find them.
Perhaps no one spends as much time on skyward mysteries as Jeff Woolwine.
But when these lights come on, it's like somebody with a switch on a wall. Boop. Here we are.
Woolwine's tours are free too, and you're free to believe or not.
Jeff Woolwine, the first person to do this. I think he's as honest as the day is long.
He describes his guests as top-notch, credible, and says Woolwine is one of the good guys.
Whether you believe in UFOs or not, there is something here. And they were here a long time ago. And their sightings is recorded on the mountain.
Hello and welcome back to another Petroglyphs in the Sky UFO show. How is everybody doing today, tonight, wherever you're watching this program at, whether it's on live television or if it's on your Facebook page or YouTube channel? Welcome to the Phoenix Lights Petroglyphs in the Sky, the only place to find out exactly what the Phoenix Lights really was. Not only just not just hearsay or speculation, but hardcore facts. Okay, that's what we deal with here on this show. Stuff that can be proven, and the stuff that we're going to be talking about today in tonight's show is there's a lot of stuff. I talk about South Mountain because South Mountain is the source, is the heart of these Phoenix lights that we see in the skies of Phoenix, Arizona. Also, these other UFO entities. And so I talk a lot about South Mountain and the petroglyphs that relate, that match to these entities, Phoenix lights, UFOs, creatures, whatever you want to call them, UAPs, UFOs in the sky. So, yeah. And so there's a lot of stuff on South Mountain that are like, I don't know if you want to call them like tourist traps or whatever, but when you're up there hiking or bicycling or stuff like that, there's a lot of things up there to see that's natural, like natural stuff. And so we're going to talk about the natural bridge that's up there on South Mountain, and also Hidden Valley Pass. Or some people, I don't think that one's called Fat Man's Pass. There is a Fat Man's Pass up there. Maybe we'll talk about that in a later show. But tonight we're going to talk about the natural bridge and the hidden valley or hidden tunnel up there on South Mountain, along with some pretty cool UFO sightings. So these sightings are going to blow you away as normal. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's get to the announcements. Okay, Haunted Encounter Adventures, you guys. I do paranormal investigating. I'm a parapsychologist. I guess you want to tag me as one of them parapsychologists. So we go around and we investigate a lot of haunted places. And so Haunted Encounter Adventures. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Find us on Facebook page, Haunted Encounter Adventures. And give us a shout out. Make sure you like the page. And tell me what you think. If you have any haunted locations here in Arizona. We hardly ever go out of Arizona, but we mostly concentrate in Arizona. If you have any haunted places you want us to go check out, make sure you message me and let me know. Okay, the Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky, Landscape for the Spirits, True Stories, Myths, Legends, and UFOs over Phoenix. That is my book. 15 years in the making. There's a lot of hiking on South Mountain, a lot of photographs on South Mountain. This is not hearsay. This is not speculation. This is 15 years of hardcore research. Probably the only person in the valley that has actually done their homework, done their research on what the history of Phoenix consists of And it also includes the Phoenix Lights. The Phoenix Lights is a part of Arizona's history, of Arizona's past. So March 13th, 1997 doesn't compare on what the story, the true history of the Phoenix Lights really is. Here you can find it in my book, and all this stuff, all this information was discovered by myself, not only hiking the trails, understanding the petroglyphs, calling in a Native American shaman to teach me about the petroglyphs, and also the information in the Phoenix Library in a folder that has been buried in the Phoenix Library for the last 80 years. And so this information that we discuss here on this show hasn't been talked about. This is the only place where we actually talk about what the Phoenix Lights is, how it relates to Arizona's past, and all the proven evidence that I've discovered. So all of this information is in this Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky, Landscape for the Spirits, and tons of photographs, excuse me, tons of photographs, not just hearsay, but proven facts, understanding how the petroglyphs, how you can understand the petroglyphs, their correct interpretations, and relates to these UFOs that we see in the skies today. Talks about how the Mayans were here in Phoenix, along with the tombs that were in that's on South Mountain in Phoenix. And so there's a lot of great stuff in here. Like I said, 15 years of research, man. Lots of hiking on that mountain, lots of sky watching all over the valley. I'm a native here in Phoenix, Arizona, so I've been seeing these things ever since I was a kid. And so yeah, it's what made me go on a hunt, on a quest to find out exactly what these things are. And once I did, I'm bringing this information to you. Now, I'm not making any money off this. A lot of people are trying to get money and fame off their books and movies and documentaries and stuff like that. All the cable shows I've done, all the documentaries I've done, all the radio shows I've done, and especially the book, I don't make any money from this. This is not about making money. It's about bringing this evidence to you. It's about bringing the facts to you. Look at what I've discovered over the last 15 to 20 years regarding the Phoenix Lights, the petroglyphs, the history of Phoenix. Look at all this information. And just don't believe me. Go out there and check out South Mountain for yourself. I bring this information to you to let you know what's there. So it's up to you to believe all this stuff that I'm presenting to you. But all I can do is present you the facts and show you the evidence. And it's up to you on whether or not you want to believe it or not. And, you know, if you can't get to the mountain on your own, then I bring the mountain to you through my book. So yeah, Phoenix Lights, Petroglyphs in the Sky, Landscape for the Spirits, True Stories, Myths, Legends, and UFOs over Phoenix. Get your copies today on I believe it's on Amazon and eBay and ebooks. So yeah, that's the only place where you're actually going to find out the true history of Phoenix, Arizona, not from a textbook from school. This is the real history of Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, Vulture City Paracon Part 2, Wickenburg, Arizona. October 8th, 9th, and 10th, 2021, this year. Going to have a great time out there. We're going to do a lot of ghost investigations, and the first time ever, we're going to do a live UFO watch out there. So Jay has been in contact with me over the past few years. And Jay and Marie Yates, great people. They're the ones conducting this ghost tour out there at Vulture City Mines. Contact them for your tickets. Make sure you get your tickets early because the VIP tickets, from what I understand, are sold out. So these tickets are going fast. And so Jay has been in contact with me over the last few years, and he's always reporting to me a lot of UFO activity out there. So not only are we going to do a ghost hunt, but we're also going to do the first time ever UFO Skywatch out there at Vulture City Paracon Part 2. Make sure you come on out there. Let's do a meet and greet. Let's talk about UFOs. Let's talk about ghosts. Let's do a first time ever Skywatch out there in Vulture City Mines. And make sure you bring your video cameras. You know, cell phones are okay, but make sure you bring a video camera. A video camera brings out the best quality and the best zoom capabilities, far much greater than a cell phone would ever do. So bring your phones, bring copies of your book. I'll be doing autographs down there, and yeah, it's going to be a great time. Contact Jane Marie Yates right here on Facebook. or contact them at the Vulture City Mines. So get your tickets fast. They're going quickly. And look at all the great speakers that are going to be there. Lots of great speakers. And from what I understand, more and more is being added to the list. There's going to be great vendors out there. And yeah, man, bring your money, dude. There's going to be a lot of great things to buy. I'm going to buy a lot of stuff out there. So come on out and join us. Vulture City Paracon Part 2, Wickenburg, Arizona, October 8th, 9th, and 10th, 2021. Great to see you guys out there. It's going to be a great, great time. All right, let's get this show on the road, as they say. Okay, so like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of cool things out there to see and to talk about on South Mountain. Not only the petroglyphs, but a lot of like natural formations and a lot of man-made formations. In past shows, I've talked about how there's a giant a wall out there constructed by the giants. And I think one of the last shows I talked about the Chinese wall that was built out there, and then somebody pushed it down, and things like that. I talk about the Spanish crosses that are out there. Well, supposedly we're out there. I can't find them now. I think the government has done away with those. But we talked about the crosses out there built by the Spanish conquistadors. Always talking about the gold tombs out there on South Mountain. And so today we're going to talk about something I haven't talked about ever on any of these shows. Is a natural bridge and a tunnel, like a little pass that is out there on South Mountain. These things are kind of neat. So if you're ever there, if you're ever up there, exploring South Mountain, hiking South Mountain, check these places out. They're really cool. All right, so this one, okay, you can see how to get there. Here's like a little map. We're going to talk about the natural bridge. A natural bridge. And so you want to take Mormon Trail. Look at Mormon Trail on South Mountain in Phoenix, Arizona. Take that Mormon Trail up, and then take this other trail here. I think it's called Kiwi Trail, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's in the next map that I have. But yeah, Mormon Trail will take you right up. Now it's kind of, this is quite of a good hike up there. In the middle of South Mountain. It's not on the top, but it's close to like the middle. And so yeah, Mormon Trail, follow that trail all the way up. It's going to lead you to this natural bridge. There's a Pima Canyon Road, and there's the Fray de Nazia stone right there above my head there. That is where that's located at. So Pima Canyon Road and also Mormon Trail. I use the Mormon Trail to get up there and check it out. So that's probably the best and easiest place to get up there. So when you get up there, it's going to be like a fork. All right, there's going to be a fork in the trails. And so last time I was there, there's signs there. And it'll direct you on where to go, either to the natural bridge or to the Fat Man's Pass or to the tunnel out there. Okay, so we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. All right. Don't you love it when stuff don't go right? Live TV, guys. Okay. All right, so. Okay, here we go. Here's the picture I wanted to get. So this is a from 1964, I believe it is. Yeah, 1964. This was taken out of the newspaper there in Phoenix, Arizona. Here you can see a bunch of Boy Scouts and a bunch of hikers up there on top of Natural Bridge. Isn't that cool? I found this in the library, in this folder that's been buried for 80 years up there in the Arizona room. If you ever want to investigate my stuff, I'm more than willing to have you check it out. You can find all this information in the Burton Bar Phoenix Downtown Library. Go up on the 4th floor to the Arizona room. Ask the secretary there to give you a file on South Mountain. I think it's like 1964 and older. Okay, there you can find all this information that I talk about on my show. This is proven stuff. You know, this isn't just my interpretation or my thoughts. This is stuff that has always been there that hasn't been talked about in 80 years. And this is, not only did I was up there finding all this stuff, sky watching, seeing the lights for myself, seeing these UFOs in the sky for myself, matching the petroglyphs, but also, you know, verifying it in this folder here that hasn't been talked about in so many years. But look at this. So this is cool. We have these Boy Scouts up there on top of Natural Bridge. This is what it looks like back in 1964. Now let's look at it today. Pretty cool. And here it is now, today. Ta-da! Isn't that neat? The exact same area where the photographer was standing when he took that picture of the Boy Scouts. I'm standing in the exact same spot, and this is cool. This is a little natural bridge. No petroglyphs out there that I found. There's no glyphs out there, but yeah, this thing is really, really neat. Go check it out if you're up there. On South Mountain, go check it out. It's kind of cool. It's just it's nice scenery and stuff. Go up there, have a picnic. And I think I got more pictures of it here. Here it is from another angle, from a little bit further away. You get a more of an idea on how they call it the natural bridge. You see these two rocks, and there's a wash down in there, a dried up wash. And so yeah, one time, that was formed by water. There was lots of water up there. And in my past shows, I talk about how this wasn't a dried up, desolate land as the way it is today. There was tons of water up there, and this is evidence of the water that was up there on South Mountain, and we all know from my past shows on what happened to all the water. So this is on the back side. This is the back side of it, and we can see there is the sand. So all this right here was all formed by water. Look at all that. You can see the weathering in that. Isn't that neat? I love archaeology. Look at the weathering in that. See all the layers of the water, of the streams and stuff like that and stuff. You can see where the water was. The water was like this high, man. So there was a lot of water here on South Mountain, and here's the proof. Here's the evidence. Natural Bridge, great place to go check out. I highly suggest that you have the means to go up there and check it out. It's really, really pretty up there. Especially, I wouldn't go like now because it's the summer and you'll die. But go up there, in the beginning of the year, like January, February, March, especially like March. March is like the best time. That's when the whole mountain just starts to bloom with flowers and grass. And I mean, it looks completely different than what it does during the summer. It's all dried up during the summer, but during the spring times, that's like the best time to go. Great weather, great sky. Bring your video cameras. You might see a UFO hanging around out there because that's the time. Because in my past shows, we talk about the certain times when these entities visit South Mountain. Springtime is one of the hot times to see them. So while you're up there and enjoying the view, always look in the sky. Make sure you pan around and look for these things in the sky, because chances are you're going to see one. And make sure you have your camera ready. Let me know when you do, and let's talk about it on the show. All right, so the next one we're going to check out is the same Mormon Trail up there. Now, this is called the tunnel. This is like hidden tunnel. This is like a little tunnel up there. It's kind of neat, kind of cool to check out. And again, the same map that we talked about earlier, that we shown earlier. And we got the hidden valley up in there. We got the natural bridge, and then we got the water rift. See, tons of water. Even this is an old map. This map was like done in like the 1940s, I believe. So this is really old. You won't see this stuff anywhere else but the folder I talked about and this show. Let's take a look at what this tunnel looks like. So here's a newspaper clipping. It's really kind of hard to see. This was taken out of that folder I was talking about in the Phoenix Library. Natural handiwork. They call it handiwork. But this is what it looks like. This is, well, in the newspaper, it's really kind of hard to see. But that's what 1964, I believe it was. Now, let's look at it today. Oh, yeah. Before, right there on the sides of, like before he went, because there's a wash there, and we're going to show you that here in a minute. And when you're walking on the wash to the tunnel, you see these petroglyphs. There are petroglyphs there, and this is one of them, right at the entrance to the tunnel there. This is one. This is interesting, isn't it? Now, I don't really, think that this is a UFO entity or anything to that matter. More of just like a regular guy. I mean, look, he's got a nose and a mouth and a nose and eyes and stuff. And even though, I mean, look, it does look like he's got like a tail or something. I don't know. I don't know what that thing is over there on the bottom. So, in a way, maybe it could be, because I do talk about the forks. I do talk about the fork UFOs, and those things are scary. And you can check that out in my past shows on why the forks are scary. But when we chop it off right here, look at that. We can see a fork. So maybe this is one of them, UFOs, one of them entities that is transformed. The archaeologist likes to say they're anthropomorphing. They're changing shape, just like what the Native Americans say. They change shape. They're shape shifters. So this thing is shape shifting. So first he's we can look at it from the bottom up. First he's like a fork. He's a fork UFO entity, a fork creature, and he's got that tail. And we all know that's not a tail. And now he's opening, he's coming up, and he's doing an orb. Now, if you look right in the middle, there is a dot in there. There's a dot in that orb. So, yeah, when we look at the Phoenix lights and when we zoom in on those things, sometimes there's like this black dot inside the orbs, inside this plasma ball, if you will, plasma orb. It's absorbing the energy from the fault lines on South Mountain, and sometimes while it's doing that massive plasma energy, there's like this black dot circle in the middle. So that's what we kind of see here. You can see the artist has put in this dot in the middle. So yeah, maybe that's one of those orbs, right? And then look, it's joined. There's a I forgot I have arrows here. So here's a dot. There's a dot I'm talking about. Now here's the tail. Here's the fork, right? Now it's an orb, right, with a dot. And then look at this here. There's another line. Now, we all know it's not a string, okay? It's not a balloon, right? It's one of those lines, and from my past shows, we talk about what those lines are. And so here's a line, right? And then now, look, there's another one, dude. And it's got, maybe those aren't eyes at all, right? I mean, maybe it could be an eye and a nose and maybe a mouth, but what if it's like another orb, another UFO orb, right? There's a dot, right? I don't know. Could be two orbs connected together, right? Connected together by a third entity. Because look, so yeah, some people, those are his legs. But what about this thing here? What the hell is that? But there's a lot of fork UFOs out there carved on South Mountain, and they're scary. Every time I see those forks out there, they're picking up either people or they're picking up animals. The story on South Mountain when it comes to the petroglyphs is not a pretty one. I think that's the reason why during the Depression they hired the CCC, the Civil Conservation Corps, to go up there and start blowing up petroglyphs, especially the ones on the lower ground of the mountain. Because they wanted to make it a family-oriented park, and having, demonic creatures and sacrifice altars, carved right there in front of having a picnic isn't very family oriented. So, and also, when you understand the petroglyphs, they tell you where the next scene is, or they tell you where these special places on the mountain can be found as far as the tombs and things like that. And so yeah, they went in there and they blew up a lot of stuff. And this fork here is, in my opinion, from what I've witnessed, and studied of the petroglyphs out there, that's scary, dude. That's why there will never be any disclosure on these UFOs, because of their past, and in my past shows, I talk about these Phoenix Lights past, and it's not a good one, man. It led to the whole comm disappearing. They saw the Phoenix Lights. They interacted with the Phoenix Lights. The Phoenix Lights taught them incantations and secret ways on stuff that man was not supposed to know about. And these light beings ended up taking these people away. They vanished from the face of the earth. That is where the evidence lies when it comes to the Phoenix Lights and the whole comm Indians. So you can't deny the evidence here. I didn't know all this until I discovered it on my own, until I understood the history of Phoenix, understood the petroglyphs on the mountains, and then, from the first park ranger in the 1930s, who writes about this stuff in that folder I was telling you about. And you can find all this information on my website, on my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel, all my YouTube video links, videos, there's on the description. There's links to my website, and there you can see one of the tombs. There you can see it talks about Holbrook, the first park ranger, and what he says, what happened to the Hohokam Indians, and how he talks about the gold and the Mayans and the tombs. And so why would a park ranger be talking about all that if this stuff was incredible? And my last show, I showed you one of the tombs that's out there on South Mountain. So yeah, this is not myths. This is not stories. This is facts. I have been out there. I have seen this. I have discovered this. And yeah. And so when it comes to this petroglyph here, so it could be a barbell. Look at that. Now that I look at it more, it could be a barbell. There's lots of barbells formations out there. We have an orb. We have another orb. We have this line together. And sometimes even these crop circles that we see around the earth, we see a lot of barbell formations. And here, if we really look at this in a scientific method, in a UFO method, yeah, we can actually see it. We can see the fork. We can see another orb. And we can see it's connected to another orb. So where's his arms? That's another thing, right? Where is his arms? So if that was a man, if this is depicting a man, where the hell is his arms at? So that is another indication, another clue that maybe this really isn't a man, right? So this is three UFOs connected together. Because where's his arms? I don't see any arms. Let's blow this up again. Let's take a look at this again here. Yeah, that's not, and it just dawned on me right now. Where the hell's his arms at? So yeah, this can't be a man, or he's pretending, he's morphing, he's anthropomorphing into a man, right? He just forgot the arms. We have the orbs, we have the line, and we have another orb, and we have the dots, and we have the fork. So yeah. I would have to say that is an anthropomorph, a shape-shifting. There's three UFOs there. There's three entities there. So yeah. Okay. Here's another petroglyph here that's on the wall, right before the entrance to the tunnel there. And, it just, well, wait a minute. There he goes. There's one right there. So, yeah. Here we go. There's what we're looking for right there. Let me show you. Right here. This glyph here. Look at this. Now, look at this. This is, some people would just say, oh, that's just like a natural animal, right? But look at his feet. This is how we can tell this is an anthropomorph. Okay, let me see if I can blow this up a little bit more. Yeah, look at that. It's kind of hard to see his other feet, but they're kind of going in the opposite direction. So we have this long body, we have this belly here, we have these feet going one direction and then another feet going in the other direction. So this is not a regular animal. This is not a deer. It's not a coyote or anything of the sorts. This is an anthropomorph. That's just an archaeologist's fancy word of saying shape-shifting entity, shape-shifting UFO. Okay, because these things like to take the shape of animals. They like to take the shape of serpents, flying serpents. Quetzalcoatl, the flying serpent from Mexico. I tell you, he's alive and well, flying around the valley of Phoenix, Arizona. I have filmed and seen him many times, and his carvings are depicted on the mountain of Phoenix, Arizona. And a lot of these anthropomorphs, I think I see more of these anthropomorphs than I do the flying serpents. So yeah, they're shape-shifting. This is not a regular animal. They like to take the shapes of many different forms and different colors. So yeah, that is exactly what it's talking about. Now look at this. Now we can tell. Look at the two difference here. Look at the comparison here. Now we know that's a regular deer. See? Look at his legs, right? Look at his body, right? Totally. This is a deer or maybe a vintage coyote, but completely different from this guy over here. And then look what we have up on top. We have two orbs. See that? A lot of people are probably saying, dude, that's an R and a P. But what if it's not? What if, I mean, look at it there, because we have another one here. So I don't believe this is, anyone trying to spell out their name or anything else like that. A lot of people think, and I've talked about this in my last shows, because there's that line that I talked about earlier, right? And a lot of people mistake these beings. I see them in the sky, and it's got this, what looks like a string, okay? But it's not flapping around like a string. It's just constantly hanging down, right? So they say, oh, it must be a balloon because it's got a string. Well, it's not a string, man. It's one of these lines, okay? And just like in the last petroglyph I showed you, they connect. These UFOs, these entities connect together to make like a barbell, right? They connect many barbells, many orbs in the sky with this line coming down. So it's not a P, but an orb with a line. And then we have two orbs that are together. And then we have a regular coyote, a deer. I would say he's a coyote because he's got a long tail. So deers don't have these long tails. But coyotes do, right? So, and he kind of looks like a dog. So yeah, he's a coyote. And what is he doing? He's looking at this anthropomorph over here, right? Now we have these little squiggly lines. Look at this here, right? Now this is really hard to see. Let's see if we can blow it up further. Let's see if we can get this a little bit bigger. That's about as far as I can go. Now look at these lines here. See that there? Now that's a type of energy symbol. A lot of places where this energy is harnessed at, not only do we find spirals, but we also see these curly Q looking things. That's what I've discovered out there. It's what I found mostly when I'm out there hiking on South Mountain. And when there's an energy source there, we see the spirals. Now, I didn't see any spirals on this rock. So not to say that I probably missed some, because sometimes when you're out there on the mountains, the sun will be in a right position where it bleaches out the petroglyphs. Like one day I'll walk right through this canyon and I won't see anything on the walls, but the next day I'll be out there at a different time, or there's clouds in the sky and oh my god, there's petroglyphs on that rock. I didn't see that yesterday when I walked by there. So yeah, the sun will bleach out some of these petroglyphs. I don't know if that's a whole way of doing things. Maybe they knew, you know, they were trying to hide it, so they made it invisible on certain parts of the day. That could be. That could be. But I do know that in certain parts, in certain times of the day, when the sun is on those rocks, it bleaches out these glyphs. And so there could have been a spiral up there. I don't know. I didn't see any. And so if anybody goes up there and finds a spiral, let me know. That'd be great. And that'd be really, really cool. Okay, so yeah, that's how we can distinguish what an anthropomorph is and what a regular animal looks like. Let's hope I do this right. Boop. Yep, we did. Yay. All right, so here we go. We're heading right towards the tunnel. And this area here is where the petroglyphs were found at, right in this area. So on this wall here, when you're walking up to the tunnel, and you can see the wash. Look at the dried up sand there. Let's blow it up. You can see all this sand. So yeah, look at all the weathering here. I mean, look at the evidence of water right in here. Look at all this evidence. Look at all the weathering here. So Arizona, I mean, Phoenix was not a desert. I mean, there was tons of water here, and we can see the proof. And the sand, look at that. There's a lot of water. Look at the weathering here on this rock. Look at the weathering there. Look at the weathering right here and right here. I mean, this was just full of water. And it was so fast. The water was gushing through here so fast. It created this tunnel. And we can see this crack here. See that? That's flakes. That's flakes of the boulders. So that water was just rushing by constantly at a fast speed to cut into these rocks. And here we can see this evidence here of this crack. This is all brittle. This is a boulder that was formed by the water. So yeah. Let's take another picture, or let's take another look at it. And here we're getting closer inside. And again, look how smooth the walls are. I mean, come on. That is just like polished. I mean, that is what water can do. Water is one of the most destructive forces on Mother Earth is water. Water can really do some damage. And look what it does, man. There's so much water through here. It made the rock smooth. I mean, it's smooth as hell, man. And then we can see more evidence of the weathering over here. Look at all the chunks here. And, of course, the sand. Right there. All this sand. Right through here. And it's really cool. And look, I don't think, see, when I took this picture, there wasn't any footprints. So nobody has walked through here in a long time because there wasn't any footprints. See that? Those are like animal tracks and things like that, but no man-made footprints until I walked through there. So no one has been in there, before I got there for a very long time. And this is another angle of it. So this is right before you walk in there. Oh, this is at the end. This is the end. Excuse me. This is the end of the tunnel. Now, it's really cool because, I mean, South Mountain is such a magical mountain. I mean, the landscape changes. Like, one block, it'll be like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like greasy rocks, right? And then the next block or the next mile down, the landscape changes. It's like green and grass and evidence of water and just different types of rocks, right? And then a mile down, it's a different type of stone. Now look at this. Look, this is interesting. Look at this type of stone. Isn't this weird? It's like sandstone or something. There's a lot of granite rock up there, I mean, I think South Mountain, I think like 80% of it is like granite rock, but there's a lot of this kind of rock here. And this is really neat. This is like a different type of rock. Isn't that cool? And there's a hole up in there. There's a hole there. And look at the weathering. Look at that. See that? Look at the water. The water was way high up on here, man. And there's evidence right there of the water. Look, look. There's more evidence right here. Right there. All these lines, that's water. Look at that. Look down here. Water, water, water. So this was totally flooded, man. All the way up. Probably past these rocks. I mean, it was totally full of water. This was underwater for a very, very long time. Love exploring South Mountain. It's one of the greatest places. It's probably the only place that's you know, worthy of Phoenix. These Phoenix lights and this mountain. This mountain is so sacred and so magical. And, you know, it's just great to be out there hiking. Now here, I told my son, I told Josh, I'm like, dude, crawl in that hole. See what's in there, dude. And there's his feet. Okay. So yeah, dude, that hole goes pretty far back. And there's my son's feet hanging out of that hole. Great times on South Mountain. Just awesome times on the mountain. Okay, so that will do it for the tomb. Boy, I got tombs on my mind, don't I? For the natural bridge and the hidden tunnel. So let's take a look at some of these UFOs. Let's look at this one here. This one is gonna blow your mind out. I believe that this one was taken in Mexico. Now, there's a lot of carvings here in Phoenix, Arizona. Lots of carvings on Phoenix, Arizona, when it talks about where it depicts like these flying worms, Quetzalcoatl, things like that, flying serpents. All right. Now, not once ever in my many, many years of hiking the mountains around Phoenix, not just South Mountain, but you know, the White Tanks and the Australia Mountains and the Superstition Mountains and North Mountains and Camelback Mountains. I've been there. I've been all around that valley, and not once did I see anything of spaceships, of you know, technology crafts or a little green man or anything like that. That is not what this story consists of. This story talks about these Phoenix lights. These things in the sky are living beings, are living creatures. Now let's take a look at what I'm talking about here. These things are alive. This was filmed in Mexico in 2009. Look at that. This is crazy. This is the stuff that we really need to be looking for. I think, you know, for so many years, you know, people have been looking for spaceships. Oh, well, that's got to be a balloon, blah, 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 because it's got string. We've already talked about the strings. But look at this crazy stuff here. Look at this thing. And look how it moves. Study how it moves. Look at that. It's moving ever so slowly. Okay, it's in control. It's alive. All right, this thing is not a technology. This is not a spaceship. This is not a craft. All right, this thing is in control. It knows who's watching. It knows who's not watching. This is what we're dealing with in our skies, not just Mexico or Phoenix or whatever. It's all over the world. This is it. This is what we can prove. We can see this stuff for our own eyes. We can read some of these biblical texts. We can read some of these Anunnaki texts, some of these Sumerian texts that has been written 3,000 to 7,000 years ago. And then we can come out on the rocks and we can see the prehistoric photographs. that there's 3 credibility sources right there. So all these spaceships and crafts and little gray guys living in closets and all this crazy stuff. I mean, sure, that's neat for writing a book with no evidence. I mean, that's neat for like fiction, you know, but we haven't proved that yet. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people saying, well, it's a spaceship. Just because you see a light up there doesn't necessarily mean that it's a craft. These things are light beings, light energy sources. They are attracted to energy sources around the globe. In my past shows, I talk about how they follow the seasons. They track the seasons of the sun. That's the reason why the Hohokam Indians were sky watchers, not only watching for these creatures in the sky, but also following the sun. They tracked the sun because they realized when the sun was in right positions in the sky, that's when these creatures was in the sky also. When the sun moved during the seasons, that's when these creatures were gone. They went to another energy source, either here in the United States somewhere or on another part of the globe. For instance, so like the spring times is like the best time to see them out here on South Mountain. All right. And then like after that equinox or after that solstice, they move. They're gone. All right. There might be 1 or 2 hanging around, but they mostly they went somewhere else. Now they're in Florida or now they're in, Paris. They're following the sun during the changing of the seasons. Look at this creature. Look at this entity. Is this crazy or what? This is the type of stuff that we really need to pay attention to. So when we see these things, especially, they're moving slow or they're going in a straight line, I mean, watch it closely. Or they're shape-shifting, changing colors. Don't automatically assume that it's a balloon or a piece of trash. Examine it. If you're going to be a sky watcher, you must understand what pieces of trash look like in the sky. You must understand what balloons look like in the sky. You must understand what drones and airplanes and parachutes and flares and all this garbage that man creates in the sky. You must first understand that. So when you see something that you haven't seen before, that doesn't compute with all this other stuff that you've studied, then you know that it's something. It's not a trash. It's not balloons. It's a real legit UFO or UAP. I like that UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. I think we've already identified these things in my past shows, but yeah, this is a better interpretation than UFO. So yeah. That is a great, great sighting. Look at that thing. That is just crazy. And this is what we're dealing with here, people. Love that sighting. That thing is awesome. Okay. Let's take a look at another sighting. This is more in like the Phoenix Lights. I'm not really sure where this was filmed at. I forget. I think, I want to say Australia? So, yeah, but not in Phoenix. This is another sighting. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's back it up. Here we go. Now look how these things are moving, right? Look how they get close to each other, right? Now, sometimes a line will come down, and it's very possible that there was a line there. And look how they're just hanging together right there with each other. So they're probably, when they connect to each other, this is just speculation. I don't know for sure. But, it would seem that they're absorbing each other's energy. Now, look at that. They just morphed together. See that? Look at that. They just morphed together into one light. See that? Oh, and then they disappear, right? Okay, so that's what I always make sure, I tell people, look, because there's so many hoaxes and fakes out there, and people filming planets, and thinking that they're, UFOs, I always make sure, when I'm examining or investigating a UFO sighting such as this, I always make sure that the videographer, the person filming this thing, films the beams, films the lights or whatever is in the sky, how it disappears in the sky, how it leaves the sky. And if somebody's filming, you know, like a light in the sky and then they just cut off the video, I mean, that's just horrible, dude. We can't understand if that's real or not. We could be looking at a planet. You know, that could be Venus up there, you know, or that could be a flare, you know. So we must see the whole sighting. If you're going to film these things, use a video camera and show how the objects leave the sky. It's important because that's how we can properly analyze to see if this is a real UFO or if this is a hoax. So always, always, always make sure that you film these beings leaving the sky. Okay, let's watch this one more time before we get going. This is crazy. This is so cool. Look how it's merging together there. And we know they're not drones because drones blink, right? Right? And they're not even, drones aren't even that bright. I mean, those things are pretty big. I've seen light drones. And, I mean, sure, they got lights on them and they're bright, but not bright like that. So yeah, we know that this is legit. This is real stuff here. And look how they move together. So many times I've seen that in the sky, in the skies of Phoenix, when they merge together and then they become solid. They're one ball. They anthropomorph together. They morphed together. And then look how they disappear. Isn't that crazy? Awesome, 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 awesome. Great stuff. Thank you guys for tuning in. And make sure that you subscribe to this channel. And if you have any UFOs that you want me to take a look at, make sure that you send them to me. Contact me on Facebook. Subscribe to my channel. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.